What's the damn ball,
guys?
RJ?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's RJ Young. This is RJ So Live Show. We're following the OU Texas Tech game, 49-27 win for the Sooners. Look, the second half went a whole lot better than the first half went, and we're going to get into that. We got Mike Stoops trending on Twitter because, well, tonight was another fireable offense for Mike Stoops. We're going to get into that, of course. We're also going to get into just how good Baker was and how Baker set the tone very early with some clothing options that he chose to wear. We're going to talk about Rodney Anderson and the kind of game he had following the Kansas State game that he had last year, which was a big deal for him, big deal for us. He had the winning touchdown, the go-ahead score in that game, and then he followed up. We're also going to take a look at just what it felt like for the first time to have OU in a true night game at home, the biggest recruiting weekend of the year, and about how we may have looked like trash on defense simply because of the way that, well, again, Mike Stoops is coming up. But positives first, because I believe in positives. I believe in the superb effort that the kids gave out there. I think we got to start with our captain. We got to start with Baker Mayfield, man, who was 22 of 34 for 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick that we can put on Mark Andrews if we want to. Yes, Mark Andrews could have kept running and maybe made a play on that ball, but to me, for one of like the 2 plays that Trey Sermon was in there, Baker had an easy check down to Trey Sermon that, could have gone for 5-10 yards. Point is, he wouldn't have thrown a pick, but it happens. Baker's allowed, even though it's his 3rd pick in 3 games. But check this out. Baker won. Saquon Barkley did not. For the first time all season, OU fans were Buckeye fans, and the Buckeyes came up with a solid one. Now, cue the talk about how, everybody's going to be like, well, Ohio State played OU now, they would beat OU. Well, you can't go back and replay that game. We stomped Ohio State's butt. And I hope that bears out with the College Football Playoff Committee when the rankings come out on Tuesday. But as far as the Heisman odds go, I don't see how this is not Baker's Heisman now. Bryce Love didn't play against Oregon State, and people want to give him the Heisman for not playing? Look, Stanford pulled out a 15-14 win against Oregon State, and Bryce Love didn't play. Big whoop. You can't give somebody a trophy for something they didn't do. It doesn't work like that. All right, Saquon Barkley lost to an Ohio State team that Baker beat. The math works for Baker. Now, we all know how we feel about a certain worldwide leader out there who seems to always want to talk noise, particularly one Kirk Herbstreit, who seems to always want to just troll OU fans. But whatever. Baker was the only one of the top 3 Heisman candidates to get a W this year. It was a convincing W, even though the game started out like it was like 2016. It was going to be another 66-59 game. I was not happy about that. I know y'all weren't happy about that, and I'm really interested to see what y'all are thinking and what y'all are feeling. So let's see if I can't go ahead and get this chat up and running. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, everybody's in here. That's what's up. That's what I like to see, guys. I'm glad you're here. It's always fun for me to have you guys in here. Let's take a look at who's in here right quick. We got Andrew. Andrew's in here early, man. Lloyd's in here. What's good, Lloyd? Dirty. What's good, Dirty? Craig Walker's in here. Man. Hey, Guitar Death. I like it. You're in here, dog. Cecil's in here. Cecil. Man, Cecil's over there from overseas, man. Cecil, Cecil's one of these people that I really love that gets to participate in this show. Cecil's a huge OU fan that depends on this community to get his OU commentary, so that's cool. Keith, what's good, man? Man, what's good, man? Devin's in here. All right. Bruce, what's up? I like it. So, I was talking about Baker Mayfield, and I was talking about the kind of game that he had. I was also wanting to talk about Rodney Anderson, who got his first start all season, 24 carries, 181 yards, 7.5 yards per clip. Rodney Anderson's getting it done. I've really enjoyed watching that kid make his way up through the depth chart, really. We got to see him run a little bit against UTEP, and we got to see him run a little bit against Tulane, but mostly it's been the Trey Sermon and Abdul Adams show. until Abdul Adams couldn't go because of the injury he suffered against Iowa State. Trey Sermons just didn't look like the back he had been in previous games, particularly that Baylor game where he had his breakout in the fourth quarter to go in and get us the W. But Rodney Anderson has picked it up, man. He's picked up the torch and he's carried it, and that's reminded me that OU is still running back U. Man, we're still the university where Adrian Peterson came through, Chris Brown came through, Quinn Griffith came through, DeMarco Murray came through. Man, remember Dom Whaley came out of nowhere? Came from Langston to be one of the breakout stories as far as backs, or a highly touted Brennan Clay who finally got it together his senior year in that historic Trevor Bowl Sugar Night. Well, I mean, it's just nice to know that OU is still a place where running backs want to come and play. I neglected to mention Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon. Look, the point is, we are still running back U. We are still one of the best universities in the country if you want to play running back. However, on this enormous recruiting weekend, particularly a defensive recruiting weekend, where, doggone it, we had just lost out on Bobby Brown, a big defensive tackle target that we really wanted. And we had all these big-time recruits coming, even Jerry Jones's grandson, who, ain't that highly recruited an athlete, and he'd probably be asked to walk on at OU. But it's still, it's that kind of a weekend. It's the kind of weekend where all the recruits wanted to come. And we even had a couple kids at OU that we wanted to flip. So to see the defense just get destroyed in the first half, man, Mike, come on, Mike. What is it with the 3 down? I swear I'm gonna do a video about this later this week, man, because I've looked at the scheme. I've looked at what he's calling a 4-3 under and what I've effectively called a 3-4 over. But the point is, it doesn't work, and it doesn't work because it relies too much on one player, and that one player happens to be the best defensive player on the team at any given point. Those of you that have been following OU forever, like me, remember Tony Jefferson was making all the tackles for that 2012 team where it looked like there was just a funnel straight to wherever Tony Jefferson was playing? That's by design, because he's the best player on that defense. When Eric Stryker came through and he's playing this hybrid jack linebackers position, man, it was because Eric Stryker is a Tasmanian devil off the edge who can beat 300-pound Alabama left tackles, right? And Obo is that same sort of player. Obo is that kind of guy, and they want Caleb Kelly to be that guy when Obo's gone. But the fact of the matter is, the scheme doesn't work. The scheme is trash. The scheme is trash because it depends on that one player cleaning up all of your mistakes, Mike. And even more than that, it speaks volumes when a program like Texas Tech, who doesn't know how to play football without throwing it, without just tossing it all around the yard, rushes the ball 12 times on one series for 57 yards and effectively moves down the field, running trap plays against a defense that's plenty talented. But how do you defend a run game when you only have 2 down linemen? You're calling her 3-man front, but you got Obo up, standing up. So you got 2 men. You got 2 down linemen. What is that? You're begging them to run. You're begging them to run. And then you want to get upset when they get to the second level and guys like Emmanuel Beal and Kenneth Murray are having a hard time tackling. I mean, was I the only person who took it as odd to see 3 safeties on the field at one time? Look, man, Khalil Houghton, Stephen Parker, and Will Johnson were all on the field. A couple of them were effectively playing linebacker. And you're asking Devontae Lampkin to continue to occupy double teams and then make a play. You can't do that. And DJ Ward was playing out of his mind tonight. Obo's playing out of his mind tonight. Devontae Lampkin, Marquise Overton had the hit of the night. So we're plenty talented, and the guys want to make plays, and they're running to the football. But I don't get it, man. Why are you putting Jordan Thomas and Parnell Motley on an island, saying cover if you can? That's not fair to them. Look, we bag on Jordan Thomas a lot, and he gets beat on some plays he probably shouldn't get beat on. Same with Parnell Motley tonight. But the fact is, Steven Parker's the only guy that's consistently trying to go over there and give them the appropriate cover over the top. And that's just not the way to play football, especially in a league where everybody runs spread and everybody runs a version of the air raid. Like, think about that for a second. Everybody effectively runs the same offense, and yet everybody knows they can run and they can pass on an Oklahoma defense. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. You know, like, let me see who else is in here. Joshua, what's up, man? Break in the first quarter. Ben don't break last 3 quarters. Yup. Who else we got in here? Kelly Elaine, striker, my all-time favorite 19. Yup. Mine too. Although Caleb Kelly, with his pick today, with his vert, his 42-inch vert today, man, he's making a run at it. He's a superb athlete. He's raw. He's really raw. And he looked exposed earlier this season in some instances. But my man has some potential, and we saw it. His athleticism is there. You know, he's plenty athletic. And I know a lot of people on that play wanted to give that pick to Mike Stoops because of the play call, because it sent Jordan Thomas on a blitz, and then Caleb came over there into zone to pick that play off. Nah, man, that was all Caleb Kelly's vertical. You know, as Sierra said earlier, you know, that was all Caleb Kelly. And so I mean, it was a beautiful pick. It's a beautiful pick, but don't try to give that to Mike Stoops. Who else? Kingpin, what's good? Angry Sooners in the house. I'm not gonna live through the season. Me neither, man. I'm dying. What's up, Professor? Mama Savage is in here. Felicia Young, look more to me that the defense just wasn't tackling properly. Couldn't handle the spin. Lack of penetration. Yeah, you know, Mama's got a point there too. But here's the thing. They don't practice tackling anymore. It's just not what you do. You know, football is a different kind of sport now. You can't go full. Even when you do tackle, you don't break them. You don't bring to the ground. Right? So tackling is just a fundamental thing that's having to change. Everybody's having to learn to tackle. That said, put your players in the best position to succeed. You know, yes, there are some plays where guys just were trying to bump and tackle and bring guys to the ground that way, but you can't do that in this age of football. You know, you gotta wrap them up and drag them to the ground if you can, but that's also coaching. You gotta coach that. You gotta coach wrapping up and dragging to the ground, and we just don't see much of that. Who else we got in here? Colton and Steven, what's up, guys? John Burkett, what's good? Sam Tiemann, what's up? Let me see. What Taylor, what's good? Let me see. Who else we got in here? Ward had a big game. Keith's right. Ward had a huge game. Obo was a monster. Obo had Freeney spin, though. Yep, Craig's right. That was beautiful. I mean, look, we saw plenty of athletic plays. That's the thing. We saw plenty of athletic plays. You know, we saw athletic plays from Emmanuel Beal, from our defensive linemen. Almost all of them came out there and showed what kind of wiggle they had. Big men, dancing bears out there. You know what I'm saying? Dudes showing them feet out there. It was fun to watch. But when you got a guy like Mike Stoops calling the defense, and you got 2 down linemen on 3rd and long, yeah, they're gonna sit back in the pocket and they're gonna pick you apart. Or on 1st down, you got 2 linemen with their hands on the ground and Obo standing up. I'm cool. Like, I don't understand how that's putting anybody in a position. Look, it goes from looking like what Mike Stoops would call a 4-3 under, to what I would call a 3-4 over, to what looked at times tonight like a 3-3-5, which is some old whack stuff, some old Western Athletic Conference BS, man. We don't need that. We don't need to run the gimmicky 4-2-5 whatevers, man. We can play big boy football. Run a 4-3, Mike. Run 4 linemen. 2 defensive tackles, 2 defensive ends, a Mike linebacker, a Sam linebacker, a Will linebacker, and 2 for real safeties. You know, run cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, and man, and blitz, man. You know, we're fast enough, we're athletic enough. We don't have to do all this gimmicky stuff. Like, I'm so tired of it. There's no call for it. Look, we're having these close games in the first half where we should never have these close games in the first half. And we're yelling about firing you because you're doing so little when you should be doing so much. The defense should be the strength of an OU football team. It should always be the strength of an OU football team. We should not have to outscore teams to win. It should not have to feel like Baker Mayfield has to bail out the defensive coordinator every single series. That shouldn't be a thing. And that's coaching. All right? That's scheme. You need to change it. You need to change it or be fired. I say be fired. Because if you're fired, then you're somebody else's problem. You're somebody else's issue. And we get to go and install a defense that works. A defense that runs. A defense that frankly gets 3 and outs. Doesn't give up points. Venables can do that at Clemson. Clemson? What kind of tradition does Clemson have? Huh? None until Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables got there and all of a sudden they win national championships. Look, man, we're not going to put up with this. We're not. This feeding the monster stuff, that's real. That's not a joke. That's not a tagline. No, the monster is real. We expect championships. We expect to get championships. Years where we don't win championships are bad years, Mike. You've been around long enough to know this, man. And if it ain't through to you by now, just get to stepping. Get to stepping, pack your bags, and let's go. Ugh, I hate all of this, man. Come on. Who else we got here? Oh, TCU were pretenders. Guitar Death makes a big point. So on the flip side, TCU are pretenders, but Iowa State is for real. So that loss to Iowa State doesn't look too bad after today. I'm actually feeling quite a lot better about that loss now that TCU got beat 14-7 by Iowa State at Iowa State. And then check this out. Iowa State folks gonna hit me up in my Twitter mentions talking about the Big 12 runs through Iowa State. Yeah, man, you got highways and streets just like the rest of us, But guess what? Last I looked, 2 teams make it into the Big 12 title game on December 2nd. And y'all asking for a rematch, and I don't think that's what you want. I don't think that's what you want. Because now there's no playing with you. Okay? Now there's no playing with you. Now you have made an enemy of the entire state of Oklahoma. You have made an enemy of a blue blood college football program. You have made an enemy of the kind of person, the kind of man in Baker Mayfield who wore the enemy's shirt. It said traitor. He wore it with white pants into the stadium this evening, man. Baker Mayfield does not care. He lives for vengeance. Let Baker find out that Iowa State want us in the Big 12 title game. Please let it happen. Please believe that we want it. Because Iowa State, I'm glad y'all beat TCU. I wanted TCU to be an unscathed booty because that would make it look better for us when we go and beat them, in a couple of weeks. But look, you're getting too big for your britches is what it is. Iowa State, it's nice that y'all not the bottom dwellers in the Big 12 and whoop-de-whoop, but you don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. Take the W, say thank you, and go on about your merry way. Because now we got you. Now we got you. Look, man, you don't smack a guy and then say you want to fight. You better put him out of his misery, and you didn't. So don't let us see you ever again until next year. September 15th, 2018. We owe you. We're gonna go up to Ames and we're gonna get you, but don't let us see you in December. You don't want us in December. Don't nobody want us in December. We gonna be so angry and so mad. Like, man, come on. Not even Mike Stoops could screw that up. Matter of fact, it might be a good idea to just fire Mike Stoops and let the kids on the defense wing it. Just let them go play backyard football. Match up man on man. Call their own blitzes, call their own coverages because, heck, they can't do a worse job than Mike Stoops has been doing. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm about to tell y'all what Nick Shimonik did. Nick Shimonik he's another Heisman candidate, courtesy of Mike Stoops. Had another Heisman highlight reel. I'm telling you, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Let me play quarterback against a Mike Stoops coach defense and I'm winning the Heisman. It's mine. Hand me that heavy trophy. Because Nick Shimonik went 22 of 36 for 322 yards, 4 TDs and a pick. Get out of here, man. 22 or 36 for 322? Come on, man. That's not what we do. We don't give up that kind of yardage. We don't give up those kind of plays. We don't make QBs look like they should be winning the Heisman. That's not what we do. We drive QBs into the ground. We grind their bones to make our bread. We don't let them style on us. And it seems like every quarterback we played this year outside of Tulane and UTEP, which are scrumptious cupcakes and trash teams, has styled on us. The third string quarterback for Iowa State threw for 300 yards on us, man. Come on. The QB at Kansas State with a water pistol for an arm styled on us. Zach Smith, who plays quarterback for a winless Baylor, threw for 463 yards on an OU defense. Get out of here, man. To say nothing, we got to take on Mason Rudolph next week. Golly. You know what? That's another video. But tonight, again, CeeDee Lamb. It's nice to see CeeDee spinning again. 9 catches, 147 yards, 16 yards average, had 2 TDs. Mark Andrews looked good again. 6 catches, 79 yards. Marquise Brown looked good again. 5 catches, 49 yards. You know what I mean? Like, we're showing flashes all over the place. Even Marcelius Sutton got some game today. I'd like to see him get some more game. I like to see him get some more game. Austin Seibert had his one job, didn't screw up not one extra point. Went 7 for 7. Look, there are lots of nice things to see here. But it's very hard to see that the defense didn't succeed in spite of Mike Stoops. Like, I know they put up a goose egg on Texas Tech in the second quarter and the fourth quarter, but it was in spite of the coaching. Like, I don't think it was the kind of adjustments that a lot of people think it was. I think it was the kids just decided, we out here by ourselves. We just going to have to do it. And that's what happened. OGBO started flying off the line. DJ Ward started flying off the line. Emmanuel Bill started filling gaps. Stephen Parker had a game, Like, there was a pick he should have had. There was a pick Parnell Motley should have had. But for the most part, all the kids had some great, talented, athletic plays. What are we looking at? You think Ruff could do better, RJ? Yes, Guitar Death. I do. I think Ruff and McNeil could do a better job than Mike. I think I would give Kerry Cooks a shot at the title. I would let him call plays. But for my money right now, both Mike Stoops and Tim Kish need to be sent out on their behinds. Give them their suitcases and send them down the road. All right, because this ain't vibing. This ain't vibing. Who else we got in here? Ruff and McNeil for interim OUD. Yeah, I can see that. But here's the thing. Mike's not going to, like Lincoln's all but said, Mike Stoops is not going to get fired during the season. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, right? But it's just like, it's destroying us. I think it's destroying us. Let me see. Who else we got? Donald King. What's up? RJ. Keep up. I appreciate it, dog. Keep up the great commentary. I appreciate that. Who else we got in here? Valerie DeLeon. What's up? Most Baker Mayfield thing Baker Mayfield has ever done. Yeah, pretty much. Corey, the link on my shirt is in the description of this video. If anybody wants to know where I got this shirt, I dig it. It's one of my favorite shirts. I wear it on Oklahoma State's campus a lot. I get a lot of ugly looks, a lot of dirty looks. Ask me if I care. I don't care. They're posers. They don't care. Lincoln got plans for Ruff. He doesn't have Co-Defense Coordinator Association head title for nothing. Yep. That's I would agree with that, Kingpin. I think it's telling that one of the first things that Lincoln Riley did when he became the head man in June was hire not only a defensive tackles coach in Ruff and McNeil, a man with a lot of experience, but made him his associate head coach. And there's history there. You might remember that Ruff and McNeil promoted Lincoln Riley to offensive coordinator while Ruff and McNeil was the interim head coach at Texas Tech after the Mike Leach scandal. So at 26, Lincoln Riley became an offensive coordinator, beat Michigan State in the Alamo Bowl, and then Ruff and McNeil became the head coach at East Carolina, made Lincoln Riley his offensive coordinator. So they were at Texas Tech together. They were at East Carolina together. They have that very, very close bond, that very good relationship. And we got a lot of guys on this staff at OU who were, Leach disciples, who were on the same staff with Leach at one time. So, it's telling. It's definitely telling. And I think the writing was on the wall for Mike Stoops at the beginning of the season, but after even, 3/4 of this season is over, going into November, man, I can't see how Mike Stoops survives. I can't. It can't happen. We won't let it happen. Like, we will go to the gates and riot it's becoming that big a deal. I mean, Mike Stoops doesn't go trending on Twitter for no reason. I'm not the only person who feels this way. Most of y'all in this chat feel this way. I don't know. You can't keep having these kind of problems in the first half, raising everyone's blood pressure, putting everybody on edge, and expect them to feel good about the defense. The bend but don't break defense is not who we are. We don't read and react. We are aggressive. We force offenses to bend to our will because we're so athletic and we're so dynamic. You know, choose a defense, stick with it, make it your thing. You know, let me see who else we got in here. John Burkett, Mike Stoops has a great resume. It's the players that are trash. Nah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and eviscerate that. So, tell me how Caleb Kelly is trash when Caleb Kelly read Nick Shimonik's eyes and then jumped 40 inches in the air to snatch a ball out of the air that was thrown on a rope. Nah, man. Tell me how Stephen Parker is trash when Stephen Parker is all over the field. Marquise Overton was a defensive tackle who came flying across the screen to go lay the wood. That's a big man moving like that. OGBO Okoronkwo is one of the best pass rushers he could be the best pass rusher in all of college football. DJ Ward is a local kid, a former number one high school player in the state. Come on, Devontae Lampkin was going to go to Texas and got flipped. You know, Kenneth Murray, Emmanuel Beal. Like, do I need to really keep talking about this? Seriously? You think that the players are the problem? No, man. It will never be the players' fault. Players play. Players want to win football games. You know, players want to be put in positions to go make highlights. That's why they play the game. They play the game because they feel like we feel. There's passion here. But I think when you're a coach and you're getting paid all of this money to basically move pieces around on a chessboard, that you forget sometimes what some of these kids and frankly some of us fans give to this team. Give our time, our energy, and in the cases of the players, their bodies to this game, to this team. They deserve better. We deserve better. That comes back to coaching. Look, you got one job, man, if you're a defensive coordinator, is to coach the defensive side of football. Not both sides of football, one side of football. That's your one job. You know, and if we are watching the game and we see fundamental problems with the scheme that haven't been addressed during the week of watching film, I have to wonder, are you sitting on your butt eating bonbons? Or are you deluding yourself with an idea of a scheme and a defense that doesn't work and routinely doesn't work? This is not a one-off. This has been happening on and on. This happened in the Cotton Bowl against Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel licked his chops against Mike Stoops and said, I'm going to get mine. You know, it's hard to look at a quarterback in this league who hasn't had a piece of Mike Stoops. Think about that for a second. Which quarterback in this league so far has not gone against the Mike Stoops coach defense and destroyed it? You know, they might have lost the game, but they played the game of their lives, and we can't keep having things like that happen. We can't. That's not going to win us any national championships. It'll win us Big 12 championships, but we got enough of those. We've got 10 of those. We've got as many Big 12 championships as we have home losses since 1999. But you know how many national championships we have? One. I don't want to be a team that keeps thinking about the 2000 national championship. You know, I want to be on par and above in Alabama, where it's not if, but when. I don't want to think about, the last time that it was great and Bob was young and everybody was running a different kind of offense. No, Alabama doesn't use that as an excuse. Clemson doesn't use that excuse. Auburn doesn't use that excuse. Florida didn't use an excuse. Ohio State didn't use an excuse. We shouldn't either. You tell me defenses win championships, then we'll never win one as long as Mike Stoops keeps running out this BS defense. Stop telling me that the talent is the problem, because it's not. It's not. I've seen these kids. I watched these kids play in high school. I covered a bunch of them. These kids are talented. They're so talented, but they can't do the job if you don't put them in a position to succeed. It's just not going to happen. Let me see. Who else we got in here? What's Lloyd Grissom. Stop playing 3-4 Mike. Yes. Silver. By the way, did you know Cliff Kingsbury has yet to beat an Oklahoma team? Yeah. Cliff is now 0-5. Cliff Kingsbury. Well, I don't know. He might have beaten Oklahoma State, but I know for sure he's never beaten OU. And I'm gonna keep riding that. I'm gonna keep reminding Red Raiders fans of that. Cliff Kingsbury has never beaten Oklahoma, and you know what? I hope he never does. Because he's an excellent play caller. But that's it. I'm tired of the pretty boy look and the pretty boy swag, where all they do is throw the ball around the field and not play defense. If you want to keep going 7-5 for the rest of your life, that's a great way to play football. But that's not what I want to do. That's not who I want my football team to be. I want my football team to be the one that's putting up 50 points and letting people score 0. I don't want to just win. I want to dominate. I want to break college football. Bend it to the will that is Oklahoma. That is what I envision for the Sooners. And if you can't envision that, get off the train. Okay? It's not about winning. It's about winning by a lot. Okay? It's about winning national championship after national championship after national championship. And don't tell me that it's not possible, and don't tell me that parity. The New England Patriots don't know from parity. The Yankees have won 27 World Series. Tell me if they know about parity. I don't care about parity. You think Patty Gasso cares about parity? No. She cares about winning national championship after national championship after national championship. So miss me with your parity and your competition and how everybody's getting better. No. I reject it. Continue to reach for what is limitless. Continue to try to win every single game. And not just win it, destroy. That is who we need to be. That is the mentality that the players play with. It's time that the coaches did too. There's no such thing as a good loss. There's no such thing. You win or you lose. Okay? And we know that the regular season is the best regular season in sports for college football is the best regular season in sports because every game matters. Because we know that if you lose 2 games, you're not playing for a national title. It doesn't matter who you lost to. You could lose to the number 1 team and the number 2 team. But if you made 2 losses, you're not playing for a national title. It's that simple. We have to win. And we have to win consistently. It's not baseball. We don't have 162 games to make a case. We have 12. 12. All right? And it doesn't matter if your best player gets injured. Doesn't matter if your best player can't play the rest of the season, is on suspension, is infirm, whatever. We have to, for those 12 games, we have to put the best we can on the field and go win. So I don't see that sometimes, man, and I wonder, but I see it with the kids. The kids know what they want. The kids know how to play, and the kids succeeded in spite of their defensive coordinator today. I fervently believe that. But I want to get back a little bit to how this OU team, this particularly offense, is so underrated. Because going into this game, OU has a chance to set a record that stood for about 40 years. All right. In 1971, OU set the school record at 7.6 yards per play. Okay, that's 71. It's a long time ago. This year, heading into Texas Tech, this OU team had averaged 8.5 yards per play. That's on pace to destroy that 71 school record. And going into this game, OU was the number 1 ranked team in yardage per play. That means that we pick up yardage in chunks. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at it because a guy like Abdul Adams, who rushed the ball 10 times for 95 yards, is averaging more or less 10 yards per carry this season. Not this game, but for the entire season. So you kind of want to find Abdul Adams with the ball and say, go give me a first down. But even so, we have so many weapons on this team that it's sometimes it seems like an embarrassment of riches, and then you figure out that, oh yeah, we got to play defense from time to time. So I want to stress that this is a very good offensive football team, and it's so very underrated, I think, because so many people believe, and for good reason, though, that it is Baker Mayfield driven. And yes, Baker Mayfield is a large part of why the Sooners are so good. But it neglects Rodney Anderson coming on. It neglects what Trey Sermon has done, what Abdul Adams can do when he's healthy, what having a 250-pound, 6'5" tight end as your best receiver can do for you. What having a freshman, true freshman as CeeDee Lamb emerge as your number 1 receiver can do for you. A guy like Marquise Brown, who's dynamic in the open field. and an offensive line that, frankly, is probably one of the best pass blocking offensive lines in all of college football. You know, like I get on him from time to time because I want him to keep Baker healthy. But when it comes time to knuckle up, those boys get it. And it was a lot of fun in the first half to see those boys running pulling power plays because those guards were ready to get out and knock somebody over. So, I mean, I think that's the thing that we need to say more about from time to time is how good this offense is, and not just how good it is at bailing out Mike Stoops, because like I said, I'm the first person to get wrapped up in how terrible Mike Stoops has been at his job. But sometimes in doing so, I neglect to mention how great this offense is, not just this season, but historically. And I really wanted to let everyone know that and to be excited about that. But again, we're back to how did we look to the recruits? This is a big recruiting weekend, perhaps the biggest recruiting weekend of the season for OU, with the night game and the last big home game of the season, quite frankly, right? Where it's under the lights and there's a lot of animosity between Baker Mayfield and Cliff Kingsbury, and there's a lot of history between both coaching staffs because a lot of the guys on our staff worked on Texas Tech staff, you know, and everybody wants a W. And after last year's 66-59 record-setting 1,708 yards, 845 yards apiece game, everybody wanted to know what the sequence was going to look like, and Baker's last chance to go after Texas Tech after they refused to let him transfer in conference, and he had to walk on, and you know the story because you're here with me. I mean, you're an OU fan, but I wanted a more complete drubbing, and especially when we need all those defensive kids in particular to really give OU a good shot for them, right? To be the kind of place where they could leave this game and know this is the place where they want to play college football. I don't think we did that, man. I don't think we did that. When you're giving up like 437 yards of offense to Texas Tech, who is now 4-4, you're not sending that kind of message. You're not sending the message that we're a dominant football team and you want to be a part of a dominant football team, right? Because there's only a few kids that really want to go to a place where they don't think they're going to win. I mean, this is the reason why you can go to Alabama, be third on the depth chart, and be drafted in the second round. But if you go to OU and you're the best player at OU, Eric Stryker, and you go undrafted, what does that say about the coaching at OU? You know, that's not a good thing. I don't care how you slice it. That's not a good thing. If kids know that they can go to Alabama and not start and still be drafted in the second and third round, but go to OU and be perhaps one of the best defensive players in school history and not get drafted, that's a bad thing. So you need to have games like this where you totally sell out and shut people down. Because the word right now is yes, OU is a very good college football program. In the broadcast tonight against Texas Tech, OU was compared to the Patriots in that we know how to play football, especially offensively. You know, we're going to have the right play, we're going to have the right scheme, we're going to have the right choices made as a play caller most of the time, and we're not going to beat ourselves offensively. But that's the offense, you know, and even then, the best quarterback in college football, you know, Todd McShay is back and forth about whether or not Baker Mayfield could succeed in the NFL because he's 6 feet tall. When does 6 feet become short, man? You know, I'm 5'5". I would love to have been 6 feet tall, you know? So Russell Wilson is not even 6 feet tall. Drew Brees is 6 feet tall. And I don't get all this noise about how Baker Mayfield wouldn't flourish in the NFL. He's one of the most accurate passers in school history, and one of the most accurate passers in college football history, one of the most efficient passers. You know, I mean, he's up there with Sam Bradford as far as being great at the quarterback position in college football, and I don't know why you wouldn't want that guy playing professional football for you. But that's the offense. Defensively is is the need, you know? Who is the last great OU defensive player to go in the top 10 in the draft? What, Gerald McCoy? You know, is that how far back we have to go? That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Look, I'm tired of us being good. I want us to be great, especially defensively. You know, I'm tired of this idea that you can be a shutdown corner like Aaron Colvin was and not go highly drafted. You know, or you can be a ball hawk like Zach Sanchez was and have to fight for a spot in the NFL because scouts just don't trust the coaches. They don't trust them to develop them into these ever-ready monsters that come out of the SEC. You know, and I think that's another reason why the Big 12 is called soft so often. It's not because the Big 12 is soft. It's because we're not reliably putting the kind of monsters into the NFL that you need to win in the NFL. You know, I think it speaks volumes when a guy like Rolando McClain can essentially disappear from pro football and then be welcomed back in with open arms by the Cowboys. Yeah, he's physically talented, but it's a lot about what his pedigree was out at Alabama. And I think if we had that kind of thing going on at Oklahoma, it'd be different, you know. But instead, we take in these kids and we don't develop them into the kind of athletes that I think they should be. You know, I don't think we develop them into the kind of football players that think we should be. Some of them come ready-made. Adrian Peterson would be a great example of that. You know, you don't improve on Adrian Peterson. You just try not to break him. You know, the same thing with frankly, a Joe Mixon or even a Samaje Perine. They came ready-made to play football. There's not a whole lot to do with those guys. You know, one of the tragedies, I think, of OU is that you take in a guy like DGB and you never get to see him play in an OU uniform. You just hear about how he's scout team All-American with Baker Mayfield in a year that neither one of them could play. You know what it'd been like to have DGB and Baker Mayfield on the team at the same time? Opposite D.D. Brooks or D.D. Westbrooks. You know, that boggles the mind. But, you know, we need to have that kind of production on the defensive end, and we're just not getting it. So I think it speaks volumes that the offense continues to bail out the defense. You know, and I hate that. I sincerely hate that. And if we go into Oklahoma State like that, we're going to get drilled. We just are. You know, they're very good at wideout. They're very good at running back. They're very good at quarterback. They're better than anybody else we have played thus far. And these games have been too tight for me to feel comfortable going into Bedlam, especially with it being this early for the first time in years. Okay, it's not the finale that it's used to being. And I think that's also going to play into it. You know, this is going to be a first for a lot of people. And frankly, we're not looking outstanding on defense going against one of the most prolific offenses in the country in Little Brother. So yes, I think we're going to win. Yeah, but I'm not confident about it, and I should be. I should never feel, it's shameful when I feel more comfortable about our chances at the time of beating Texas than I did about beating Oklahoma State. That's shameful. That should never be. I mean, it speaks to how bad Texas and how far they have fallen, but also to where we are as a defense. Because Oklahoma State doesn't have a chiseled, shut down defense. You know, they're a bend but don't break defense. They try not to lose games, not win them. I just think that all of this is indicative of where we are as a program. But let me see what else y'all got. What are y'all saying in here? Let me scroll back up to the top. Let's see. Austin, do you think the TCU loss today hurts OU, or does it make the loss to Iowa State not look so bad? Like I touched on this a little earlier, but I really think that it helps OU. In the same way that Ohio State beating Penn State today helps OU. I think a lot was done today to help OU. Even Oklahoma State beating West Virginia helps OU because it's going to look better when we mollywop them on Saturday. You know? I do. I think that did a lot for us. Let me see. Sooners, 1991. What do you think is the problem with OU getting 5-star recruits like they used to get? We get them. I mean, from time to time. You know, I don't think it's that we're not getting them. You know, we're getting pretty good. Like Bray Walker is going to be our stud of this incoming class. But I don't really think about so much that we're not getting 5-star recruits. I think about we're not getting 5-star recruits on the defensive side of the football. That's what I think about. You know, or that a kid like Robert Barnes is having to bide his time because, you know, he's a standout recruit from this freshman class that I would like to see get some more game. And I understand that we're better off at safety than we are at a lot of positions on defense. So I wondered sometimes if maybe even it would be nice to see him flex out to corner or see what Trey Brown can do. So I think we're talented. You know, I don't think it's a problem with getting 5 stars, though. I like getting 5 stars and I want to get as many as we can get. But I think the problem's a little bit deeper than the star next to the kid's name, you know? I think it's a lot more to do with scheme. I just do. Who else we got in here? Freeway. Can we talk about Lamb and how he puts us in opportune positions. Yeah. I mean, with that kind of length and that kind of savvy with the ball, and he's a freshman, and there are moments where you see that he's a freshman. There are moments where you can see that he's raw, but there are also moments where, it's nobody else on the field could have made that catch. And that's what's exciting to me about him, right? Is if he has an opportunity to develop, and he continues to develop, he could easily be one of the best wide receivers in OU history, and that's not a stretch. I mean, he's on course right now to break Kenny Still's freshman receiving record of 762 yards, I believe it is. I think at last count, CeeDee was on pace to break that by like 100 yards. So, the more opportunities we can get that kid in one-on-one coverage, the better. Which is why, again, I think that running the diamond, which I made a video on earlier, it's a good idea. I just think that it should be a part of our packages. It's just we're set up for it. We should run it. What else we got in here? Let me see. YPP is the best stat used for offensive efficiency. That's debatable. Let me see who else we got in here. Jordan Bush, the player-coach relationship can be defined early in Bob and John Blake's play. John Blake was a good recruiter, but he couldn't scheme, but put players where they needed to be. I'm not going to ride for John Blake or put him in the same ballpark as Bob Stoops. I will say John Blake can recruit or could recruit, and there was a reason for that, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm just not a John Blake fan. Who else we got in here? John, what's good? John IBN. What's happening, man? 10 points more than I'd like to be. Good job after first quarter. Yep. Yeah, I genuinely agree with that. On the flip, recruit could say, wow, their D sucks. They need me. I can play better than that guy. Yeah, and that's what you're banking on with a game like this. Kingpin makes a good point. You might see a guy over there that's playing the position that they're recruiting you to play and say, I can play it better than him. This might be a place for me to go. Matter of fact, recruiting story. So when I was still covering OU football, I was covering the Sooner Scoop. And one of the things that Carrie and Josh did with me and Eddie was take us down to the Rival Camp Series. And the last Rival Camp Series I went to, I think, was in DeSoto, Texas. And Samaje Perine was at this camp. And I got a chance to talk to him in a little running back circle. And I had asked him, point blank in one of those off-to-the-side conversations about, what you really thinking about. I asked him, so seriously, why did you pick OU over say, an Alabama, right? Because he had a standing off from Alabama. And he said, OU had the least amount of running backs. And that was it. It was math to him. It was that simple. It was, I have a better chance to play because the depth chart is just that much shallower. So I think, Kingpin, you make a good point there. Some of these kids, they really do look at how many at their position there are and how good they are. Now, you might make an argument as to whether or not you want a kid on the team who's not going to be thinking that I can succeed wherever I go, but also from a pure, I want to get to the league standpoint, that's a business decision too. So, so you can go either way on that. But all things considered, I would love to see a defense shut people down when defensive recruits are in town. That's just me. Let me see. Craig Walker, when I got recruited by smaller D1 schools, it was intimidating going somewhere like that. I went to Ohio U, and it was insane to be recruited. It's an intimidating process. Yeah, and that's the other thing to think about is recruiting is an intimidating process for a lot of kids. They're being pulled in a lot of different directions by a lot of people who have self-centered interests. And frankly, as a fan, I want to see the best players come to my university to play football. But I also want them to do what's best for them and what's best for their families. So I try to have a lot of sympathy and empathy for the kids as they're going through this process, not so much for the coaches. If you can't recruit, if you can't sell a kid, that's your fault. That's not his. What do we got? I want Baker to bleach his hair and shave it into a boz cut for Bedlam Week. Ben J. Thorpe said that, and I'd like to see that too. That'd be cool. I'd be down with that. That'd be very cool. Mark Andrews got some butterfingers. Yeah, well, not really, but I'll let you have that. Andrews versus Gresham. Ooh, that's a good question. I liked Jermaine Gresham when he was at OU. I liked him a lot. I like Mark Andrews a little bit more. But the reason that I like Mark Andrews a little bit more is because, look, my man doesn't linger over missed opportunities to catch football. He knows he's going to get other opportunities, and he knows he's going to go out there and make catches. And the fact is, he came in as a wide receiver. He's not just a wide receiver. He came as the best wide receiver in Arizona, the state of Arizona. Set school records, state records as a wide receiver. And when they told him, we want you to play tight end, when he got here, he wasn't recruited to play tight end. He was recruited to play wide receiver. But when Lincoln Riley came in, they said, we want you to play tight end in this offense. He didn't blink. My man put on 30 pounds. And he's one of the best tight ends in the country. So I'm going to give it to him from a selfless standpoint of a kid that just want to go out there and play football and win football games. So I'm going to go with I'm gonna definitely go with Mark Andrews on that. Let me see what else we got in here. Let me see. Like how much layman. We won. We covered. Nobody got hurt. I'm happy. Yep. That's a good way to look at it. Look, there's a lot that we could take away from this game. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of bad things. In particular, I still just want to remind everybody that Mike Stoops is still a defensive coordinator, and that's the worst thing about this game. Quite frankly, nobody got hurt, like you said, and it was a convincing win in the end. Baker Mayfield capitalized on a chance to assert himself in the Heisman, though he'll say to anybody who will listen, I don't care about the Heisman. I care about the Heisman. I want you to win the Heisman, Baker. Everybody in my chat wants you to win the Heisman, and I think that is a big deal. All right, we're still in a good position to play in the Big 12 championship, which means we're still in a good position to play in the college football playoff. So all things considered, tonight was a success. But I don't want just successes. I want dominance. That is what OU football is. We are dominant. That's what we want to be. There's a reason why we laud the 47 straight win streak. There's a reason why we call Barry Switzer the king. It ain't because he won Southwestern Conference titles. It's because he won national championships. All right? One of the reasons that Bob Stoops is going to get his own statue alongside Bennie Owens, Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer is because he won a national championship. And I think as long as Lincoln Riley is moving in that direction, we'll be okay. But I don't see how he can move in that direction with a Mike Stoops. So, we'll see how that plays out. I hope that they watch a lot of film and they get it together for this Bedlam game. Because, look, man, for me, this is the game. Okay? I know people are going to say TCU is the game to watch, but for me, this is the game. This is the turn, okay? If we win this game, I think the rest of the season takes care of itself. If we lose this game, oh my goodness, I don't even want to really go into what would happen if we lose to Oklahoma State. We can't lose to Oklahoma State. We can't do it. But we win this game, I rose-colored glasses here, it all falls into place. That's what I believe. That's what I want to happen. All right. I think that's going to be it for me. I'm going to try to call out everybody who's in the chat. So let me see who's in here. So if you're just getting in here, say hi, come through, and get your shout out. Okay, Andrew, what's good? Dirty, good to see you, man. Guitar Death, appreciate you being here. Cecil, good to be here, man. I'm glad you were here. Keith, what's good? Man, what's good? William Everman, what's good? Keith, what's good? Davin, what's good? Bradley, what's good? Bruce, I like it. Well, Kingpin, Steven Gunter, yes sir. Man, some of y'all being here every time. I appreciate that. Brian Loester, what's good? Sooner Jonesy, I like it. Taylor Pavey, hey, what's up? Angry Sooner, hey. Joshua Williams, I like it. What else we got in here? The Professor was in here. Mama Savage in here. Felicia, that's my mama. Who else we got in here? Kelly Lane was in here. Appreciate it, Kelly. Jordan was in here. Valerie was in here. That's what's up. Devon was in here. Thank you so much. B Guns, what's good? Charles was in here. Brian, thanks for coming through. Corey, thanks for coming through, man. Let me see who else we got in here. Donald King was in here. I appreciate the shout out. Who else was in here? Let me see. Where we at? John Burkett was in here. What's up, man? Lloyd was in here. Appreciate you coming through, Lloyd. Who else was in here? I think that's most. Sooners 1991 was in here. Got in here late. Austin Hill. That's what's up. Way to get in here late. Free Ray. J Word. What's up? Jordan Bush. What's up? Ben J Thorpe. Thanks for coming through. Who else we got in here? Let me see. Like I said, man, if you get in here late, get in here. Say what's up. John IBN was in here. John Hal Brooks was in here. One more question. I'm going to take one more question. Let me see. Would you rather have Baker win the Heisman or a national championship? Psh, Baker win the Heisman. Nah, I'm playing. I'm just playing. I'm playing. I want a national championship. Not for real. I want a national championship. I wouldn't care if we win a national championship. We could go. We could get just blanked on the awards this year. I wouldn't care. That's like, I want a national championship, and I think that's what most people would do. Everybody would take a national championship. Let me see. Abraxa, you came in here late, and Walker folks, I appreciate y'all coming through. All right. I think that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you've been here before, I appreciate you coming through. You know that I upload a new video every day. This is the place for OU football news, notes, commentary, college football. You know, we have some shenanigans from time to time. My mama joins me in some of these videos. We have a good time, but mostly it's about community. It's about me. It's about you. It's about us, you know, getting together to talk about OU football and seeing, you know, what it's going to take and riding this wave to win the national championship. That's what it's about. That's what we give this to. All right, I'm going to sign off and say deuces.